The annual Sperduti Farms Fall Harvest Festival is this weekend and next weekend at Sperduti Farms in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. That's Saturday, September 23rd, Sunday, September 24th, Saturday, September 30th, and Sunday, October 1st from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Go to Sperduti Farms on Facebook for more information.
Hello and welcome to In the Kitchen with Mary Mac. Today's recipe is for Irish potato candy. We did this podcast in the very early days of In the Kitchen with Mary Mac, and for some reason that no one can remember, there wasn't actually a recipe or instructions included in the podcast, which talked about Irish potato candy.
We've ran into this before. Those early eps were chaos. Like the Scotch egg episode where you didn't give any measurements.
Yeah, you know.
It happens. We re-record. It's okay.
So we just did this recipe at the Pittsburgh Irish Festival 2023 at the Carey Furnace site in beautiful Rankin, PA. And we did it in the Five Farms Irish Cream Celtic Kitchen, where they do cooking demos and stuff. So I had my recipe for Irish potato candy, and I sort of tweaked it a little bit and made it with the Five Farms Irish Cream, because Irish cream is basically heavy cream, good, pure Irish heavy cream from Irish cows who live and grow and eat grass on the Wild Atlantic Way in the county of Cork, Ireland. So it's this delicious heavy cream mixed with equally delicious Irish whiskey, which is also sourced from County Cork. And it is blended, and it makes this wonderful creation that tastes like, I don't know, everybody says what it tastes like, and they all say different things. And I think, I don't get any of that. But it has this kind of flavor like maybe vanilla. Some people taste vanilla, some people taste chocolate. I actually taste whiskey. and it's in this delicious creamy cream. So it's really a wonderful thing. So I used it in the potato candy because in the original recipe for potato candy, you use vanilla, which is a flavoring, and you use heavy cream, which is a thing that you need to use sometimes to make your dough a little bit thinner. I thought, hey, Irish cream will work great for that. So I used my Five Farms Irish cream, and it came out really good. So all of that to say this. I'm going to give you both versions of the recipe so that you can make it how you want to make it. If you want to buy some Five Farms Irish cream and use it to make these, you can do that, and you can substitute it for vanilla and other recipes. It's really wonderful in frostings and cakes and, whipping cream. It also makes a mean cocktail, so you can do that if you choose to. If you do not choose to, you can make it the old way with vanilla, which is also delicious. Here's a little bit about Irish potato candy. This recipe is for a type it comes from the Philadelphia area, which has a huge Irish population because it is a seaport. Actually, Philadelphia has the largest Irish population in the United States, even bigger than New York City. Like I said, it's a seaport, and people came there, and I imagine the reason it has such a large population is because it's less expensive to live in Philadelphia than it is to live in New York City. So I'm sure once people figured that out, they probably were like, hey, let's move south a little bit. And then Western Pennsylvania has a really big Irish population because the rolling hills, especially of Butler County, Armstrong County, Lawrence County, Beaver County, look a lot like Ireland. And we had the steel industry here, so lots of jobs for people who are immigrating, lots of jobs in Western Pennsylvania in those times. So this was a popular treat around St. Patrick's Day in the Philadelphia area. It was a thing that you could give out, like to say, Happy St. Patrick's Day, and give people this little potato candy. And I've read that they used to hide a penny inside of it. So if you got the penny, you were lucky, or I guess as lucky as you could be if you have a dirty little penny in your Irish potato candy. But anyway, so that was a thing. But these were like a treat that people gave out or had at their house for when guests came or whatever. Just a little way to say Happy St. Patrick's Day, and a little piece of candy. And they look like little potatoes. Now, the recipe has evolved to some people make this with Philadelphia cream cheese, but that's not how it was originally made. In the Pittsburgh area, they make a thing called Irish potato candy, which is actually made with mashed potatoes and powdered sugar. And that's made into a dough, and it has peanut butter spread into it, and it's rolled up and sliced. So that is also called Irish potato candy, but it's not what we're doing today. Ours looks like little potatoes. What I'll do is I'll give you the original recipe, and then I'll give you the Irish festival variation, and then I'll do the instructions with you. So here's the original recipe. 1 stick, that's 4 ounces of softened butter, no substitutions. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 16 ounces of powdered sugar, 2.5 cups of sweetened flaked coconut, and 2 tablespoons of heavy cream to use as needed for making the dough the right texture. And then you need cinnamon for coating the potatoes. Now, for the substitution for the Irish festival, I really Irished it up. So we used 1 stick, 4 ounces of Kerrygold Irish butter softened. We used a teaspoon of Five Farms Irish cream, 16 ounces of powdered sugar, 2.5 cups of sweetened flaked coconut, and then 2 tablespoons of Five Farms Irish cream as needed, and the cinnamon for coating. So here's the instructions. You need a large bowl for this, and what you want to do is mix your softened butter, vanilla or Irish cream, and powdered sugar. Mix them up well, as good as you can, and it will be stiff, but don't worry about that. Add the coconut and work that in, and this works best with like a good heavy wooden spoon that you can really lean on, because remember, this is going to be like dough, okay? We want this to be a dense, heavy mixture because you're going to be forming it into little potatoes. So mix that coconut in and add a little bit of heavy cream or Irish cream at a time as needed to make this form into a ball. And you want it to be very stiff, firm dough. Once you get it to where it's sticking together pretty good, it'll still be kind of maybe like crumbles coming off of it. But once it's sticking together pretty good, you can actually take your hands and knead this to make it form a tight ball so that everything's well mixed. And that's not a bad idea. If you want to wear gloves when you do this, by all means, wear gloves like neoprene gloves for cooking or those clear plastic kinds or whatever. But just make sure that it's very well blended together and it's a nice stiff dough. If it seems too soft, you can always knead in a little bit more powdered sugar. Once you get it to that state, what you want to do is make your little potatoes. So you're going to need a dinner-size plate. Just with your fingers, decide how big you want to make these. So when I make these for a treat around St. Patrick's Day, I use about a tablespoon of filling. And they come out like about, 2 inches long. So they're a little bit bigger of a size. And I get about 50 out of a batch. When I do them for a place that I want to have samples, or if you want to make them smaller, use about a teaspoon and a half of the dough. And you get about 100 little potatoes out of there. And they're about, they're about an inch long, maybe an inch and a half long, whichever you want to make. So what you want to do is pinch that little bit of dough off and roll it into a real tight ball so that it's very nicely put together, and then shape it into a little potato and set it on your plate and just keep doing them until you have all your little potatoes made. You might need more than 1 plate, but usually 1 is sufficient. When you get them all done, you want to put about 2 tablespoons of cinnamon in a small bowl. And don't add anything to your cinnamon. Don't put powdered sugar or anything, just straight cinnamon. Because what you're going to do with this is put some on the outside of your potato candy to make them look like a little russet potato, So what I do is I roll the potato candy in the cinnamon, and then I take my fingers and I kind of rub it around. They're not completely dark, like they'll have some light spots. Like try to artistically make this thing look like a potato skin as good as you can. Okay? And then just set them. You can set them on another plate and then just let them sit there until they kind of dry. They'll get a little bit of a dry surface on them. Because you know how icing does, like when you ice a cake, the icing will actually form a little crust and then it'll be sealed inside. The potatoes do the same thing. And once you have them all done, you can keep them in an airtight container. And these keep really well because the sugar like works as a preservative for the butter, and they seal on the outside from drying, and they just stay really well. So as long as you have them in an airtight container, they'll keep at room temperature for 2 to 3 weeks. Or you can keep them in the refrigerator, and in the refrigerator, they'll keep like 2 to 3 months. I've actually even frozen these, made them way ahead of time and put them in the freezer. And then I just touched them up a little bit with the cinnamon when they thawed. And these keep really well. They stay really good. They stay soft inside, and the outside is a little bit firm, and they're really, really good. But these are such an easy candy to make. They're an easy candy to make and kind of a fun thing to do. Now, someone at the Irish Festival said her mother used to make them, and she would put an almond sliver inside, which probably goes back to that penny idea. If you find an almond sliver in your potato, it's good luck. I still laugh about that, putting a penny in it. I'm sure like in the early 1900s, if you found a penny in a piece of candy, it would be really exciting because it would mean you could buy a whole lot more candy. But I still think about, like we said, one of the dirtiest things you can have is a coin. So you want to put that inside of food. So that's it. That's the Irish potato candy. And I hope you give this a try. I've gotten so many compliments on this recipe. I do sell these around St. Patrick's Day sometimes, but I usually make like 2 batches of them, and that's about it. The popularity basically is St. Patrick's Day. But they're such a tasty little thing. People really enjoy them. So if you get a chance to make them, they're just a neat thing to make, to maybe take to a St. Patrick's Day party or give to your coworkers, or, just to have around the house. Especially with the Five Farms Irish cream. That really like kicks them up a notch. That was a really, really good mixture there, and people really enjoyed it. So give that a try too. I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
And make sure to check us out online on Facebook and Threads at Mary Mac Bakehouse, on Instagram at Mary Mac Bakehouse and Mary Mac Podcast, and on our website, marymacpodcast.com.
Thanks a lot for listening if you did, and if you didn't, too bad for you.